We are counting down 10 legendary cryptids, creatures people claim to have seen, but that science has not confirmed. From shadowy forest beasts and blood-sucking predators to ancient spirits and world-shaking monsters, these legends have sparked fear, fascination, and countless sightings across the globe. Which legend tops the list, and what might really be behind these mysteries? Now, let us begin our countdown with number 10. Deep in the tangled woods of New Jersey's Pine Barrens, stories tell of a winged, horned creature that cries out in the night. This dark legend is called the Jersey Devil. According to colonial accounts, the Leeds family's 13th child was said to be cursed and transformed into a beast, sprouting bat-like wings, a forked tail, and hooves before vanishing into the wilderness. The tale spread through local communities, fueled by superstition and whispers of witchcraft. In January 1909, panic gripped the region as newspapers reported hundreds of sightings, strange tracks, and eerie sounds. Schools closed, and search parties scoured the frozen forests. Yet despite the hysteria, no physical evidence ever surfaced. Explanations range from misidentified birds and deer to elaborate hoaxes and the power of a good campfire story. The Jersey Devil remains a symbol of regional folklore, famous in New Jersey, but unconfirmed by science. In 1995, panic swept through the town of Canovanas, Puerto Rico, after farmers found sheep dead, with strange puncture wounds and no blood left behind. Locals began whispering about a mysterious animal stalking the night, a spiny, dog-sized beast soon named the Chupacabra, which people called the goat-sucker. The story spread fast, with new reports appearing across Latin America and even the southern United States. But when supposed Chupacabra bodies were recovered and tested, scientists found a different culprit. DNA testing matched sick coyotes and dogs suffering from severe mange, a skin disease that strips away fur and gives animals a bizarre, reptilian look. Desperate for food, these animals attacked livestock and left the telltale wounds. The legend of the Chupacabra grew out of fear and mystery, yet the evidence points to diseased predators and the power of rumor. In November 1966, a wave of panic hit Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Two young couples driving near an abandoned TNT plant reported a towering winged figure with glowing red eyes, soon dubbed Mothman. Over the next year, dozens of locals said they saw a 7-foot humanoid, sometimes gliding silently above the treetops or lingering at the edges of headlights. The sightings peaked just as tragedy struck. On December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed during rush hour, killing 46 people. Many began to link the creature to the disaster, casting Mothman as an omen of doom. Yet no physical evidence ever surfaced. Wildlife experts point to the sandhill crane, a large bird with a 7-foot wingspan and striking red markings, as a likely source of confusion. Mass hysteria, fueled by media reports, may have turned a handful of bird sightings into a national legend. High in the snowy Himalayas, tales of the Yeti have echoed through Sherpa villages and mountaineering camps for generations. Described as a towering ape-like figure covered in thick fur, the Yeti is said to leave massive footprints across the frozen slopes of Nepal and Tibet. In 1951, British climber Eric Shipton photographed a strange set of tracks in the snow, sparking global fascination and a wave of expeditions searching for the abominable Snowman. Monasteries displayed tufts of hair and mysterious bones, fueling speculation about an undiscovered giant primate. But when scientists at Oxford University tested dozens of these supposed Yeti samples in 2014, DNA results pointed to local bears, brown bears, black bears, and even ancient polar bear relatives. The legend lives on in Himalayan culture, but every piece of physical evidence so far has led back to known wildlife rather than a hidden mountain giant. This is a story about culture, memory, and our urge to explain the unknown, not proof that a new species walks the snow. Across the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, stories of a towering hairy giant have echoed for centuries. Known as Bigfoot or Sasquatch, a name borrowed from the Coast Salish languages, this creature is said to stand between 7 and 10 feet tall, be covered in dark fur, and move with a human-like stride. Indigenous peoples of the region have long told of large, elusive beings inhabiting the wilderness, weaving these figures into oral traditions long before the modern era. In 1967, the Patterson-Gimlin film captured a shaky, brief glimpse of a supposed Bigfoot striding along a California creek bed. The footage became a pop culture sensation, endlessly debated and analysed, yet never conclusively proven or debunked. Over the decades, hundreds of plaster casts of oversized footprints have been collected, and thousands of eyewitness accounts have poured in. But despite all the stories, not a single bone, tooth, or verified hair sample has ever been found. Scientists point to bears standing upright, misidentifications and hoaxes as more likely explanations. The enduring mystery lives on, famous in folklore, but still missing from the fossil record. Mist rolling across the surface of Loch Ness has fueled rumours of a giant, long-necked creature lurking in its dark waters for centuries. A cryptid often called Nessie became a part of local legend. The earliest written account dates to the 6th century when Saint Columba was said to have driven a water beast from the River Ness. The modern wave of stories began in 1933, when reports of a strange hump in the loch drew newspapers, monster hunters and tourists to the Scottish Highlands. In 1934, the world was shown a grainy black and white photograph known as the surgeon's photo. For 60 years, that single image convinced millions and turned Loch Ness into a global destination. The truth came out in 1994, when the photo's creators confessed it was a hoax made with a toy submarine and a sculpted head. Since then, modern sonar scans and underwater cameras have found no evidence of a monster. Scientists point to floating logs, waves, swimming birds, seals, and optical illusions as likely explanations. Still, the legend endures, kept alive by curiosity and the promise of the unknown. Sailors crossing the cold northern seas once whispered about the Kraken, a monstrous creature with tentacles strong enough to drag entire ships beneath the waves. Old Scandinavian sea charts warned of its lair, marking vast stretches of ocean as dangerous and unknown. Some whalers returned with stories of arms as thick as tree trunks wrapping around their boats, and a few even described seeing eyes the size of dinner plates staring up from the depths. For centuries, these tales seemed like pure fantasy, but in 1857, scientists confirmed the existence of the giant squid, Architeuthis dux. Specimens washed ashore measured over 40 feet, with tentacles lined with powerful suckers. While no verified attack on a ship has ever been recorded, the reality of such enormous creatures lurking in the deep gave new weight to old legends. The Kraken's myth lives on, but its roots reach straight into the dark, mysterious world of real-life sea monsters. In the frozen forests around the northern Great Lakes and across Canada, Algonquian peoples tell of the Wendigo, a gaunt, haunted figure with antlers and hollow eyes, said to roam the winter woods in times of famine. This is a legend, not a hidden animal, and it has long been a story used to explain and warn about extreme hunger and isolation. In stories, the Wendigo appears as a person consumed by hunger, transformed into a creature that preys on others when food runs out. Colonial records from the 1800s document cases where the Wendigo was blamed for real acts of desperation. One well-known example is the tragic story of Swift Runner, a Cree man who was tried and executed in 1879 after resorting to cannibalism during a harsh winter. For indigenous communities, the Wendigo is a lesson, a reminder that selfishness and breaking social bonds can destroy not just the body, but the spirit. There are no bones or bodies, only stories that echo, the psychological scars of survival in a harsh land. This is primarily a mythological figure, not a zoological cryptid. Among the most misunderstood legends in North America are the Skinwalkers, figures rooted deeply in Navajo tradition. Known in the Navajo language as Yii, Na'al-Dilu, Shi'i, these beings are said to be witches who have violated sacred spiritual laws and gained the power to transform into animals. Stories warn that such transformation is not a gift, but a consequence of choosing dark paths and breaking powerful taboos. Unlike cryptids described as unknown animals, skinwalkers are not creatures to be hunted or proven. They are part of a living belief system, closely guarded and rarely discussed outside indigenous communities. Many Navajo people consider public discussion of skinwalker lore to be harmful, and media sensationalism can disrespect or even endanger traditional ways. While modern internet culture treats skinwalkers as horror fuel, the real story is one of spiritual boundaries and cultural respect, and the dangers of crossing lines that should not be crossed. This is spiritual folklore, not an animal species, and it should be mentioned with care and sensitivity. Across continents and centuries, one legendary creature rises above the rest: the dragons. In Europe, tales described fire-breathing monsters with bat-like wings guarding treasure in dark caves. In China, dragons took on a different form, long, serpentine, wise and powerful, often bringing rain and prosperity. Mesoamerican cultures honored feathered serpents like Quetzalcoatl, linking dragon imagery to creation and the sky. The striking similarity of these myths hints at a deeper source. Ancient people often stumbled upon massive bones, fossilized dinosaur remains or mammoth tusks, long before science could explain them. Without modern knowledge, it was easy to imagine these strange skeletons as proof of giant reptilian beasts. These fossils offered a natural but mysterious starting point for dragon stories. Encounters with real animals, such as huge crocodiles, Komodo dragons or giant pythons, also helped fuel the tales. While no evidence confirms dragons ever soared through the skies, the legend of the dragon unites cultures in awe and fear of the unknown, and it reminds us how the past can shape our wildest imaginations. Across all 10 cryptids, one truth emerges. Legends thrive where mystery meets uncertainty. Whether born from fear, folklore, or misunderstood nature, these creatures reveal how our imagination fills the unknown. Cryptids endure, not because they're proven, but because they show how deeply we crave wonder and explanation,